Today, we're talking about the 15 motorcycle etiquette rules that people break all the time. Let's start with rule number 1. Don't touch someone's bike without asking. This should be the most obvious rule in the world. You park at a show or a gas station, and some guy walks up and starts poking at your controls, grabbing the throttle like he's doing a test fit for his future self. Watched a guy at a meetup sit on someone's custom Harley without asking last month. The owner nearly lost his mind. A motorcycle is personal space, and touching someone's bike without permission is like grabbing their steering wheel. It's not curiosity, it's disrespect. You don't know how it's tuned or if they've got a custom clutch perch that costs more than your jacket. If you want to look. Ask questions, compliment the setup. But unless the rider hands you the keys or says, "Go ahead," keep your hands off. If you don't respect the bike, you're not respecting the rider. Rule number 2, maintain a safe following distance. You see it all the time. Someone riding so close to the bike in front, they could reach out and tap their shoulder. That safe distance isn't just some suggestion. It's about survival. When you're tailgating another rider, you've got zero margin for error if they need to brake suddenly. I still remember this kid on a sport bike tailgating an older guy on a cruiser. The cruiser hit his brakes for a deer, and this kid locked up, went sideways. Walked away with road rash and a busted bike. All because he wouldn't give space. Real riders know you need at least a few seconds gap, more if the weather's bad. But too many folks ignore this because they're impatient or think riding close makes them look skilled. Leave space. It's not about you. It's about respecting everyone on the road enough to give them room to react when things go sideways. Rule number 3, use clear turn and hand signals. This one baffles me. You're riding in formation, about to make a turn, and the guy ahead just turns. No signal, no hand gesture, nothing. Just expects everyone to be a psychic. Happens on every group ride. Someone will dart across lanes to an exit without so much as a nod, then look confused when half the group gets separated. Signaling isn't optional. Every lane change, every turn, every time you need to slow down unexpectedly, you communicate. Signals aren't just about legal requirements. They're about the brotherhood of the road. They're saying, "I see you behind me, and I respect you enough to keep you informed." When you coast through lane changes unannounced, you're not being cool, you're being selfish. Clear signals prevent surprises, and on a motorcycle, surprises are rarely the good kind. Rule number 4, ride in staggered formation and don't crowd. In group riding, you don't ride side by side in the same lane. The lead bike takes the left position, the next rider falls in 2 seconds back on the right, and so on. It's not a suggestion. It's how you keep a pack from becoming a pileup. I was on a charity ride last summer where some weekend warriors showed up with zero formation knowledge. Riding side by side, bunching up at stops, road captain had to pull them aside and give them a crash course in not causing an actual crash. Same for stops. You pull up behind and slightly offset from the bike ahead, not directly alongside them. Give them room to put a foot down or move if needed. It matters because when one bike goes down in tight formation, they all go down, like dominoes. Expensive, bloody dominoes. Rule number 5, give the motorcycle wave to fellow riders. The motorcycle wave isn't complicated. It's a quick gesture, 2 fingers down, a nod, something that says, "I see you. We're part of the same tribe, friend." It takes half a second, but carries the weight of decades of riding culture. When I first started riding, I was so nervous about taking my hand off the grip that I'd skip the wave. An older guy pulled me aside. "Son, you gotta wave back. It's like saying, 'I got your back' to a stranger who gets what you're going through." New riders sometimes miss it because they're focused on the road. But experienced riders who ignore it? That's cold. Some will argue it's optional, just a silly tradition. But the wave is part of that culture. It acknowledges the shared risk, the shared joy of what it means to choose 2 wheels instead of 4. So, throw the wave. It costs nothing, means everything, and distinguishes riders from people who just happen to be on motorcycles. Rule number 6. Don't ask how much someone's bike costs. You're chatting about someone's build, admiring the paint, and then you kill the vibe with, "So, how much did you spend on this?" At a show in Austin, I watched a guy with a beautifully restored vintage Triumph get bombarded with price questions. You could see his enthusiasm drain with each dollar sign question. Wrong move. Motorcycles are personal. They're a mix of time, money, mistakes, and pride. Asking someone how much their bike cost is like asking their salary. It's nosy and rarely coming from genuine interest. Most of the time, it sounds like you're trying to size them up. What they spent on parts doesn't reflect the hours in the garage, the busted knuckles, the trial and error. If you want to talk about the bike, talk about the bike. Ask about the ride, the build, the feel. But don't treat someone's pride and joy like it's an eBay listing. Rule number 7. Don't ask to ride someone else's bike. This goes beyond just touching. It's about crossing a serious line. Mind if I take it for a quick spin? As if their prized possession is something to be casually borrowed. There's a guy in our group who custom built his cafe racer from scratch. 3 years of work. Some stranger asked to take it around the block 2 minutes after meeting him. The audacity is like asking to wear someone's wedding ring because it looks cool. You don't ask to ride another person's motorcycle unless you've built that kind of trust over years. It's not a toy. It's an extension of who they are, tuned to their reflexes and riding style. True riders understand this instinctively. If an owner ever offers, now that's different. That's their choice. But you never put them in the position of having to say no. Rule number 8. Don't join a group ride you weren't invited to. You're out with your crew, cruising in formation, and out of nowhere, someone joins the line. No introduction, just casually slips into formation like they've been there since the pre-ride briefing. Had this happen on a memorial ride once. We're all wearing armbands. Clearly, a close-knit group honoring someone. And this random dude just slots in at a light and starts chatting like he's part of the family. A group ride is not an open invitation or a parade. It's a coordinated effort built on trust between riders who know how each other moves. When someone slides into that without asking, it throws off the entire dynamic. You don't know if they understand formation spacing or if they're safe. If you see a group ride and want to join, ask. Pull up at the next stop and introduce yourself. Don't just blend in like a ghost. It's not just rude. It can be extremely dangerous. Rule number 9. Don't race ahead of the ride leader. The ride leader isn't just some figurehead. They're responsible for keeping the group together and on route. But there's always that one rider who thinks the formation is a suggestion and the leader's position is up for grabs. I lead rides sometimes, and nothing's more annoying than watching some hotshot blow past me. I'm holding a map in my head. I have the whole group's safety to think about, and now I've got to decide whether to chase this idiot down or let him get lost. The leader isn't setting that pace because it's all they can handle. They're setting it for the group. They know the route, they've planned the stops, and they're watching out for the newest riders as well. When you shoot past them, you're throwing a wrench in the entire operation. If you can't handle the pace of a group ride, don't join it. If you want to ride faster, go do it somewhere else solo. Rule number 10. Be punctual for group rides. Nothing says my time is more valuable than everyone else's, like being the last one to roll in, 20 minutes late with some half-baked excuse. We had this guy in our weekend group, Tardy Tom. Every ride, he'd roll in 15 to 20 minutes after kickstands up. Always had an excuse, and after the 5th time, we just started leaving without him. In the riding world, on time means early. If kickstands up is at 9, you're there at 8:30, bike-fueled, ready to roll. Not pulling in at 9:05 while everyone's been waiting. Group rides aren't like casual hangouts. They're planned with routes, timetables, fuel stops. When one person is late, it cascades through the entire day. Showing up when you said you would is basic respect. Rule number 11, come prepared with route and essentials. There's always that one rider who shows up empty-handed, expecting everyone else to be their personal guide service. No map, no GPS, no clue about the route, just assuming they can follow along. How far until the next gas stop? Which exit we taking? Every 5 minutes, another question that could have been answered with basic preparation. I remember a cross-state ride where one guy showed up with a quarter tank of gas, no water, and his phone at 10% battery. By mile 30, he's panicking about fuel. By mile 100, his phone's dead, and he's lost when we hit a detour. Real riders come prepared. They have a physical map or a GPS backup. They know roughly where they're going and when they'll need fuel. It's not about being perfect. It's about making an effort. Rule number 12, perform pre-ride bike and gear checks. You're all ready to roll out when suddenly someone's bike won't start or their tire looks suspiciously low. And now everyone's standing around while they try to fix what should have been checked before. Saw a group forced to abandon a ride because someone's chain was so loose it was about to jump the sprocket. Not something that happens overnight. 20 people's day ruined because one person couldn't be bothered to do a 30-second check. Pre-ride checks aren't optional extras. Tires, brakes, lights, fluids, chain, a basic once-over takes about 5 minutes and can save hours of roadside repairs. But too many riders skip this step. They assume their bike is fine because it was fine last week. Their lack of preparation doesn't just affect them, it affects everyone they're riding with. Rule number 13, maintain a consistent group speed. Group riding isn't just about how fast you could go. It's about how well you can ride together. That means maintaining a consistent, predictable speed that works for everyone. There's a canyon run near me that attracts riders every weekend. You'll see perfectly spaced groups with smooth, steady riding. Then you see the chaotic groups, where some guy keeps gunning it and creating massive gaps, then slowing way down, making everyone accordion. The riders who can't manage this fall into two categories. The show-offs who randomly accelerate, and the distracted ones who slow down to look at scenery and then rocket forward to catch up. Neither understands that good formation riding is about rhythm. When you suddenly change your speed, you force every rider behind you to adjust, creating a ripple effect that can destabilize the entire group. Rule number 14, look out for less experienced riders. How you treat the least experienced rider in your group says everything about what kind of rider you really are. It's easy to look cool when you're only riding with people at your level. The real test is how you adapt when riding with those who aren't. One of the best riders I know, this old Harley guy, always positions himself behind the newest rider in any group. He says, the measure of a rider isn't how fast they can go. It's how well they can help others get there too. The riders who blast off and expect everyone to keep up aren't showing their skill. They're showing their selfishness, putting their desire for speed above someone else's safety. Real riders understand that the group is only as strong as its most vulnerable member. They check mirrors, adjust pace, and mentor rather than abandon. Rule number 15, ride defensively. Right of way isn't guaranteed. You're approaching an intersection with a green light, and you just go. No hesitation, complete faith that every car driver out there is paying attention. Let me be blunt. That faith is going to get you killed. Had a close call at a four-way stop last month. I had the right of way, but something made me hesitate. Sure enough, SUV blows through their stop sign, driver looking down at their phone. That extra second of caution saved me. Legal right of way and actual right of way are two different things. The law might say you can go, but physics says if that driver doesn't see you, you're still the one getting the worst of the collision. Defensive riding means assuming drivers don't see you. It means making eye contact at intersections, being prepared to yield even when you legally don't have to. The alternative is betting your life on a stranger's attention span.